White played King F1. Pause the video and try to predict Black's next move. Queen C4 check. Queen takes C4. Pawn takes C4. King E1. Pawn H4. King D2. King H6. King C3. King G5. Black is preparing to play. King takes F5. King takes C4. King F4. King D5. King G3. King E6. King takes G2 and dominate the board. King takes C4 was chosen by White. King F4. Black considers playing. King G3. King D3. King takes G2 and gain a significant edge. King D5 was chosen by White. King takes F5. King D4. King F4. King D5. King G3. King E6. King takes G2. King F7. King takes H3. King takes G7. Black has a strong upper hand. Let's go to the next game. White just played Queen takes C2. Pause the video to spot Black's next move. Queen takes C2 check. King takes C2. King F5. Black wants to play King E4. King C3. King F3. Pawn G4. Pawn takes G4 and put immense pressure on the opponent. King D2 was chosen by White. Pawn H4. King E3. Pawn takes G3. King F3. Pawn G2. Black wants to play. Pawn promotes to Queen at G1 and increase their advantage significantly. King takes G2 move preferred by White. King takes F4. King F2. Pawn G5. Black is aiming to play Pawn F5. King G2. King E4. King G3. King E3. Pawn H4. Pawn F4 check and seize the initiative. King G2 played by White. King E3. King G3. Pawn F5. Black is setting up to play King E2. Pawn H4. Pawn takes H4 check and establish a winning position. Pawn H4 move preferred by White. Pawn F4 check. King H3. Pawn takes H4. King takes H4. White is on the verge of defeat. Let's go to the next game. Black made a move. King E6. Pause the video to find out White's response. King E3. Queen G5 check. Queen F4. White intends to play Queen takes G5 and gain a significant edge. Queen F5 move preferred by Black. Queen takes F5 check. King takes F5. King F3. King E6. King takes G3. King E7. King F4. King F7. Pawn G4. White's idea is to play King F5. King F8. Pawn G5. King G7. Pawn G6. King H6. King F6 and take decisive advantage. King G6 played by Black. Pawn G5. White wants to play Pawn E6. King H5. King F5. King H4. Pawn E7 and put immense pressure on the opponent. King H5 was chosen by Black. King F5. King H4. Pawn E6. King H3. Pawn E7. King G2. Pawn promotes to Queen at E8. White wants to play Queen E5. King F2. Pawn G6. King F1. King F6 and gain a significant edge. King F1. Black is on the verge of defeat. Let's go to the next game. Black played Queen takes b5. Pause the video to find out white's response. Queen d3 check. Queen takes d3 check. King takes d3. King g6. On a4. King g5. King e2. White wants to play. On a5. King f4. On a6. On g3. On a7. On g2. King f2 and dominate the board. King h4 played by black. King f2. White is planning to play. On a5. King h3. King g1. On g3. On a6. King g4. King g2. King f4. On a7 and secure a stronghold in the game. King h3 move preferred by black. Black is planning to play. King h2. King e3. On g3. King d4. On g2. King c3. On promotes to queen at g1 and increase their advantage significantly. King g1 played by white. King h4. On a5. King g3. On a6. King f4. King g2. King e3. King g3. On f5. On a7. King d3. On promotes to queen at a8. King d4. White has a decisive advantage. Let's go to the next game. White just played. Queen c4. Pause the video to find out black's response. Queen takes c4 check. King takes c4. King g7. Black is aiming to play. King f6. King b4. King e5. King takes a4. King takes e4. King b5. King takes e3 and secure a stronghold in the game. On e5 played by white. King f7. King b4. King e6. King takes a4. King takes e5. King b3. King e4. King c4. On h5. King c5. King takes e3. King d6. King f2. Black might go for king takes g2 and increase their advantage significantly. On g4 move preferred by white. On takes g4. On takes g4. King f3. King e5. King takes g4. King e4. White is on the verge of defeat. Let's go to the next game. White made a move. King g1. Pause the video to figure out black's next move. Queen e7. Queen takes b7 check. Queen takes b7. On takes b7. King takes b7. King f1. King a6. King e1. King b5. King d2. King takes b4. King e3. King takes c5. On g5. King c4. King f4. King d3. King f5. On c5. King f4. On c4. King takes f3. On c3. King g4. On c2. King f5. On promotes to queen at c1. Black might go for queen c5 check. King f6. Queen takes f2 check and secure a stronghold in the game. King f6. White is struggling to keep up. Let's go to the next game. White made a move. Queen d5. Pause the video and try to find black's next move. White is preparing to play queen takes c5 check and put immense pressure on the opponent. Queen takes d5 played by black. On takes d5. On b5. King d2. King d6. King e3. King takes d5. King f3. On e4 check. King f4. On a5. Black might go for on a4. King g4. King e5. On a3. King d5. King f4. King c4, and increase their advantage significantly. King g4 move preferred by white. King e5. Black is planning to play. On a4. On a3. On e3. King g3. King f5, and gain a significant edge. On c4 move preferred by white. White is planning to play pawn takes b5 and take decisive advantage. On takes c4 played by black. On c3. On a4. Black is preparing to play. On a3. King g3. King f5. King f2. King takes g5 and put immense pressure on the opponent. King h4 was chosen by white. King f4. Black is looking to play. On e3. King h3. On e2. King h2. On promotes to queen at e1. King g2. Queen e2 check and gain a significant edge. King h3 was chosen by white. King f3. King h2. On e3. King g1. On e2. Black is looking to play. King g3. On a3. On promotes to queen at e1 mate and take decisive advantage. King h2 played by white. On promotes to queen at e1. On a3 white is on the verge of defeat. Let's go to the next game. Black just played. Queen e3. Pause the video and try to find white's next move. Queen b8 check. King h7. On a7. King h6. Queen h8 check. King g5. Queen d4. Queen c1 check. King e2. White's idea is to play. Queen e3 check. Queen takes e3 check. King takes e3. King f5. On promotes to queen at 8 and dominate the board. Queen a1 played by black. Queen g4 check. King h6. Queen takes h4 check. King g7. Queen d4 check. King h7. King f3. White is planning to play. Queen h4 check. King g7. Queen e7. On d4. Queen e5 check. On f6. Queen takes d4 and seizes the initiative. On g5 played by black. Queen d3 check. King g8. Queen e3. White is setting up to play. Queen takes g5 check and seizes the initiative. King f8 move preferred by black. King g4. White might go for king takes g5 and establish a winning position. Queen a5 played by black. Queen d4. White's idea is to play. On promotes to queen at a8 check. Queen takes a8. Queen h8 check. King e7. Queen takes a8 and secure a stronghold in the game. King g8 move preferred by black. On d4. White is planning to play. On takes a5. On f5 check. King takes f5. King f7. Queen f6 check. King g8. On promotes to queen at a8 check. King h7. Queen ah8 mate and increase their advantage significantly. Queen a6 was chosen by black. King takes g5. King h7. White is dominating the board. Let's go to the next game. White made a move. Queen takes d5. Pause the video and try to find black's next move. Queen e1 check. King h2. Queen e5 check. Queen takes e5. On takes e5. On takes h7. On b5. King g3. On the 5. King f2. On b4. King e3. On a4. On promotes to queen at h8 check. King takes h8. King d2. On e4. On h4. On a3. Black might go for. On b3. On takes b3. On a2. King e3. On promotes to queen at a1 and establish a winning position. King c2 was chosen by white. On e3. On g4. On e2. Black might go for. Pawn promotes to queen at e1 and put immense pressure on the opponent. King d2 move preferred by white. On b3. Black intends to play. Pawn takes a2. King takes e2. Pawn promotes to queen at a1 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Pawn takes b3 move preferred by white. King h7. King takes e2. On a2. King d3. Pawn promotes to queen at a1. On h5 white's loss is confirmed. Let's go to the next game. Black played. Queen b5. Pause the video to spot white's next move. On a7. White is setting up to play. Pawn promotes to queen at 8 check and seized the initiative. Queen a6 was chosen by black. Queen e3. King h7. Queen f2. White is preparing to play. Queen takes f7 check and increase their advantage significantly. King g7 played by black. Queen d4 check. On e5. Queen takes e5 check. King h7. Queen e7. White might go for. Queen takes f7 check and secure a stronghold in the game. King g7 was chosen by black. Queen c5. Queen b7. On b5. King h6. King b3. White intends to play. Queen f8 check. King h7. Pawn promotes to queen at a8. Queen takes b5 check. Queen b4 and gain a significant edge. Queen a8 move preferred by black. King c4. On f5. On b6. Queen e4 check. King b5. White is aiming to play. Queen f8 check. King h5. Pawn promotes to queen at 8 and dominate the board. King h5 played by black. Queen c6. Queen e2 check. King c5. Queen f2 check. King d6. Queen g3 check. King d7. Queen d3 check. King c8. Queen a6 check. King b8. Queen e2. On b7. Queen f2. King a8. Queen e3. Pawn promotes to queen at b8. White considers playing. Queen h8 check. King g4. Queen g2 check. Queen g3. Queen h3 check. King g5. Queen takes g3 check and increase their advantage significantly. Queen e7. White is clearly ahead. Let's go to the next game.